July 15, 2016 started like any other ordinary day in Türkiye. Millions were headed home after a work week, while some were still enjoying the day. No one expected it coming. The terror. Tanks, armored vehicles and fighter jets were hijacked by the special agents within the Turkish armed forces. The Turkish parliament was bombed. Senior commanders of the army were tortured, and TRT, the national public broadcaster, was taken over. A wave of violence washed Türkiye, claiming the lives of 251 martyrs and wounding 2,734. Meanwhile, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan was plotted to be assassinated. The aim was to overthrow Turkey's democratically elected government and suspend its constitution. The perpetrators were loyal to Fethullah Gülen, the notorious ringleader of FETÖ, a terror group. It was the first time in the country's history that people from all walks of life stood against the coup attempt. The orchestrator of the coup, Fethullah Gülen, had been plotting to seize the political power for more than a half-century. FETÖ targeted infiltrating Turkey's public institutions in the 70s. He was active in education and operating private schools and universities in over 180 countries. The group offered vulnerable children a path to success, but with strings attached, and led to his followers taking jobs inside the machinery of the state. The followers, however, resorted to treachery, blackmail, illegal wiretapping, framing, and mobbing to claim the ranks of the bureaucracy. Once in position of power, they paved the way for others and backed them to cheat and centralize exams, allowing them to get rid of their opponents. To fund its illicit activities, Gülen established an unconventional religious network and an economic empire that included banks, factories, and media firms. The political history of Türkiye has had coups d'etats against civil governments, but under Erdogan's leadership, this was irrevocably altered. The president targeted the group's networks for fundraising, propaganda, and recruiting in a bid to prevent the Gülenist coup and rescue the republic. Erdogan was everything that FETÖ despised. He said that only the people could choose the direction of the nation and that he was against any type of guardianship over its institutions. He positioned Türkiye as the global protector of oppressed peoples, speaking for those who have no voice. He instilled optimism and trust in the Turkish people, who had undergone decades of military incursions and anti-democratic policies. When it came down to it, on the night of July 15, Erdogan prevented Gülen's heinous plot to undermine democracy. Calling on the Turkish people to resist the coup attempt, he risked his life to join the pro-democracy forces in Istanbul. Erdogan here demonstrated to the nation his willingness to bear any cost for freedom and sovereignty. That courageous gesture ensured that the decision of the people would determine Turkey's future by the time the sun rose over the Bosphorus. Mothers, fathers, children, soldiers, police officers, and students, heroes were lost that night. We pay tribute to them by bringing to justice those responsible for organizing, funding, and perpetuating the coup attempt on July 15, 6 years ago. Under the leadership of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, we are determined to ensure that no country or community suffers in the hands of FETÖ's clandestine organization again, in memory of those that made the ultimate sacrifice for democracy and freedom.